Hello everyone, Professor Cadney's here, and we are going to take a look at the article Disconnected Urbanism in our technology unit. And we're going to do something a little bit differently in this article. I'm going to show you a new annotation strategy called two-column notes. And it's a really helpful annotation strategy for when you have to write a summary of an article. Okay, so I'm going to teach you the annotation strategy that's best to use when you need to write a summary. The first part of it is really similar to one that you've done before, which is the main idea supporting detail annotation. That's the annotation I did on the Be Specific article. So we're going to do that first. We're going to read Disconnected Urbanism. Like usual, I'll read the first couple of paragraphs with you. We'll talk through them, and then I'll identify the main ideas and details in the article. And then I'll begin to show you how to take two-column notes on that article. All right? There will also be another video which will show you how to do your two-column notes a little bit more, and we'll show you how to write a summary. Okay, so this really is basically going to be over two parts so that you can learn the skill of bringing two-column notes to summary. Disconnected Urbanism by Paul Goldberger. So when we look at this title, Disconnected Urbanism, what do we think about? Well, disconnected, your phone call can get disconnected. What does that mean? Cut off. Your whole phone could get disconnected if you don't pay your phone bill, right? That means cut off, okay? Urbanism, what does that mean? Well, an urban environment is a city environment. So disconnected urbanism means being cut off from the city environment where we exist, right? So he's going to write about what disconnects us from our environment. And since this is in the technology unit, what can you guess that might be? Some form of technology, right? And we're going to learn in the very first sentence that that form of technology is the cell phone, okay? And he wrote this article before there were even smartphones, okay? So he was noticing this problem even earlier than the smartphone came about. Disconnected Urbanism by Paul Goldberger. There is a connection between the idea of place and the reality of cellular telephones. It is not encouraging. Places are unique, or at least we like to believe they are, and we strive to experience them as a kind of engagement with particulars. Cell phones are precisely the opposite. When a piece of geography is doing what it's supposed to do, it encourages you to feel a connection to it, that, as in marriage, forsakes all others. When you are in Paris, you expect to wallow in its Parisness, to feel that everyone walking up Boulevard Montparnasse is as totally and completely there as the lampposts, the kiosks, the facade of Brasserie Lip, and that they could be no place else. So we want it to be in every city, in every place. When you are in a forest, you want to experience its woodsiness. When you are on the beach, you want to feel connected to the sand and surf. Okay, so this is an analytical essay. It's a little more complicated. It's beginning by talking about a problem with cellular phones, right? So our main idea of that first paragraph, which we will highlight, and we'll highlight it in yellow, happens to be the overall main idea of his whole piece. And there's a connection between the idea of place and the reality of cellular phones, and it's not a good connection, okay? And so some of the examples that he's giving involve some of those most specific details in this paragraph include wanting to wallow in Parisness. What does that mean? Well, he gives examples that when you're walking around in different places in Paris, France, you really would want to experience it and enjoy everything that's around you, okay? Some more details here. Lampposts, kiosks, the facade or the outer part of something, right? Woodsiness, right? When you're in the woods, you want to experience being in the woods. And this is the introduction. Basically, he's saying that The cell phone makes us not able to do any of these things, right? Okay. All right, so now let's look at the second paragraph as he develops his argument. This is getting harder to do, not because these special places don't exist, or because urban places have come to look increasingly alike. They have, but this is not another rant about the monoculture and sameness of cities and the suburban landscape. Even when you are in a place that retains its intensity, its specialness, and its ability to confer a defining context on your life, it doesn't have the all-consuming effect that these places used to. You no longer feel that being in one place cuts you off from other places. Technology has been doing this for a long time, of course. Remember when people communicated with Europe by letter and it took a couple of weeks to reply? Now we get upset if we have to send a fax because it takes so much longer than an email. Okay, so here he's talking about the fact that it's not just that places look similar, right? Like, it's not just that you can find a McDonald's anywhere you go. It is more that technology is allowing us to be in two places at once. If we are at CCP, we can step outside of the classroom or even still be in the classroom talking to somebody who is in Tennessee, where we grew up, for example. So he's building an argument that technology is taking something really special away from places. And just one word that's important in this paragraph is the word monoculture. Monoculture means sameness. Mono means one. Okay, so he's saying it's not because the places are the same, but it's because of the cell phone that we are not experiencing places as well as we possibly could. Okay, so let's take a look. Let's highlight the main idea here. Here we have the first sentence again. And then I'm also going to add to it for the main idea. We have the rest of that main idea is in the center of the paragraph. Basically, it's not because urban places look alike, but you no longer feel that being in one spot cuts you off from the other places. And an example of that, right, would be upset if we have to send a fax because it takes longer than an email. He's giving the example of here we go. Yeah. This is a part about the monoculture aspect. Even when the place retains its intensity, its specialness, its ability to confer defining context, it doesn't have the consuming impact that supports his idea about monoculture there. That's pretty good. Okay. So the main idea is like the overall point that paragraph is making, and the details are those little pieces of information that support that point. Okay, so you're definitely going to continue to annotate this article for main ideas in detail. So what you're going to be responsible for turning in is actually 2-column notes, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay, so we'll do that with the first couple of paragraphs. So 2-column note strategy is just a graphic organizer strategy. And how do you get this set up? Well, on Microsoft Word, you can do this. You can also, if you would like to, do this on paper, right, and upload it that way. That's fine. And the way to do it on Word is to click Tables. Okay, here it is in my window up here. Tables, and then click New. Okay, and then you're going to do 2x3 table. Yeah, click any, or 2x8, as long as it's that left-hand column of 2, right? And that's going to make a chart that looks like this come up on the screen. And then you simply make it go down on the page. Okay? And then what I would do is just in a bigger font in your top column, you're going to type in main ideas. And then here you're going to type in supporting details. Let's make that the same font. This is also called the Cornell Notes strategy. Some of you may have done it before. Okay, and then you're just going to go ahead and write what the main ideas and supporting details were for your paragraphs. So in the next video, I will continue to show you how to take 2-column notes.